Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DeCharis, CPA extraordinaire, coming to you live from downtown Levittown, Long Island, New York, for another amazing episode of How to Win at Business. And tonight we have a special guest. She has to fix her microphone. I'm going to keep it a secret as far as who she is right now, but we're going to let her try to get the technical difficulties resolved. You know, the way Facebook works is, or maybe you don't know how Facebook works. If you don't go on within like 10 minutes of your scheduled time, they don't let you go on. They're pretty strict with these rules. And you know, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a good thing because we're going to see if Lynne Brown, yes, the one and only. So Lynn, can you speak yet?
I can hear you,
No
but
sound yet. All right, I asked Elizabeth to call you and try to walk you through. Okay, so if you could hear me, shake your head yes. You you can hear me. Okay, so we can't hear you,
can you hear me?
but what we're gonna do. Hey, Jeff, we do have some people listening, so reach out to Elizabeth and see if she could help resolve the technical difficulty. She's really good at that. So I'm gonna remove you from the screen for now. Just give me a heads up when you have it. I could see you in the green room. We actually have a green room. Uh, oh, wait a second. So Jeff says he can hear you.
Yeah,
So
I
that's interesting. So let me see. Maybe it's on my end. So let's see. Speakers. So Lynn, since you uh, people can hear you, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself while
okay.
I try to fix my technical difficulties here.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Joe, for
Ah, I think I found it.
can you hear for thank you
Let's
so
see if
much for
I.
having me as a guest today. And I can tell you that I I'm in a much better place today than I was 365 days ago. You hear can you hear me, Joe?
No, I can't hear you.
Yes, you can, hush. Can everybody hear everybody now? Are we good?
Yeah. So the
Okay.
problem was, yeah, I got to check my settings. For some reason, my speakers went to my microphone, so my computer's all confused. But one thing my friend Craig Doswell taught me, and Jeff knows Craig. That's how we know each other. Is the one good thing about technology is you know that something's going to happen, and also even if it happens, the show still goes on. So
Heck
that
yeah.
yeah, we're tenacious, and that's what sets us apart from normal people.
That's right.
Okay, so I didn't even get to intro you. So let me do it now. You are a client. You were one of our first clients on Bedrock. You were one of the trial cases, let's say.
That was a
When,
good one.
yeah. So you passed the trial. I guess we passed it because you're still a client. You're what we call a liqueur client. Okay. A liqueur client is a premier client that follows the rules, gives us what we ask for. You pay your bill. That's important. When clients pay their bill, that's very important. And you're just a pleasure to work with. And and I'll tell you why. I love to see people grow. I see our team members grow, and not all entrepreneurs grow. They get stuck. They hit this ceiling, and there's a lot of reasons for it. Most of the time, it's because they're not willing to go out of their comfort zone. Okay, you can't grow unless it's like when you work out. If there's no pain, there's no gain. So you got to put yourself out there, and I know that you have. And very recently. So kudos to you. You've joined the ranks of the real entrepreneurs. You are growing. Not only are you growing, you're helping other people. So think about that. When you could have a business where you could actually do what you love doing, make money, and you're empowering people. I mean, what better thing is there than that? So that's my intro for Lynne Brown. I don't want to give up what you're actually doing. That's what we're going to talk about. So thank you for joining us tonight.
Well, thank you again for having me. And, I will say that I am not where I was. I have a long way to go, but I'm not where I was. So I'm making progress in this whole, the whole business mindset. There's so many different caveats when you think about mindset, but you, number one, business mindset, that is a real thing, and you have to truly wrap your mind around it and embrace that and get over any of the the paradigms and the BS stories. Those are bogus stories. This is a family show. So
No,
you
it's
have to get yeah you have to get over that piece of that. And I will tell you that being accountable and working with this Bedrock team has truly up leveled my game. Now, trust me, I'm sure there are days that they just want to just like delete and just block me from their screen, but because I mean, I'm just my giftings are not on the technical side. My giftings are not in that business side of it, but that is an important piece. But I always said I want to be able to hire someone to do that part because I don't like that part. And I'm a big one in looking at what gets heavy for you. And if something gets heavy for you, then you really need to take a minute and lean into it and find a solution for it. And so that's what Bedrock has done for me. They have truly, they're teaching me how to manage my business, and trust me, if you could have seen, the past 20 years of my track record, you would know that was an important piece for me going forward and for me truly to walk into my destiny. So saying all of that, like I said, I am a work in progress here. But I think like Joe said, the sometimes the hard places are the places that prepare us for the next steps. And so that's where I am. I'm in the middle of a move right now, and it's awesome. It's stretching me, and I wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for some of those painful parts of the journey. Pain is a very effective teacher.
Yes, well, there's different kinds of pain. There's the good pain and there's the bad pain, and both of them are inevitable if you want to grow. The bad pain we have no control over, and I don't think I have to explain what the bad pain is. But the good pain is when you get through it, when you come out of it, you're better. You've learned. You just that's how you grow. That's what I learned. And you said so much. The first thing that I picked up was you said you were talking about mindset, and you have to wrap your mind around that, which I think is, if you think about it, that was pretty funny. I don't know if you did that on purpose, but you do. You really do. And as far as the technology goes, one of our mantras is that we make everything simple. Business is too complicated. Not too complicated. It's complicated. Okay. And it's not easy, but we try to make it simple for people. And what we've learned, not everybody has the technical skills, and you don't need the technical skills. What you do is exactly what you did. You say, I need somebody else to do this. So we put the people in place. And when you say them, Bedrock, what you're talking about is really the team that we put together, which is really an all-star cast of different people, different talents, you know, uh, most of them are accountants because that's what we need. But, even as accountants, they come with different skills and experience. So that's our plug. If you want, and also the fact that we hold you accountable, we have to, because we want you to succeed, and you have to have some kind of role in the financial part of your business. And that's where I see you growing. You were like, oh, I don't want to do this. You could have fired us. You could have said, I'll do this myself. But you figured it out. You figured out what we were about. We're not trying to punish you, although it might seem like that when we're asking you to upload your statements. And just so you know, I have to do the same thing. I don't do my bookkeeping. Carmela does it for me. And, I'm like, you're bothering me again with the uploading the bank statements. And I'm actually trying to transition to an account where I can just give her access. So, little by little, we do these things. But now you came to us, you were doing tell me if I'm off base here, but you were doing speaking at schools, correct?
That was one thing that I was doing. I mean, I coach, I train, I speak. So, I am not to that place in my business where I can just say, I'll never go speak there. Or I'll never go speak there. So I was serving, some businesses and schools. But at the time when I, came in, I was working on a big project in a school, and I had a year-long contract in a school. But it's just been interesting to see the evolution of how, it's transitioned, and just what we've been through the last 3 years, and just kind of what we're facing right now. It's just, I'm the kind of person that I'm gritty. And so the R and gritty.
That's right. You were the gritty woman.
Yeah.
What's the name of your business again?
Yeah. It's gritty. It's great. I mean, I have a podcast, Gritty Women Podcast. I'm Lynne Brown Co., but everything's gritty. So everything I do is based on those principles, and the R in gritty is for resilient. And I think that is the most important piece. I think it's just one of the foundational pieces, and you have to, in business and with life and with the day-to-day, you have to be resilient. You have to wake up and know that this day might not look exactly the same as yesterday, and you just have to be able to face it. And then, I'm a big, strong believer in the power of, your mindset. And I've always been that person.
So let's go back to, you had this contract, you were going to schools, you were basically going to, so you live in a rural part of Florida, right?
Yes.
So there's not, I live on Long Island. There's too many people here. There's school districts all over. So it's different where you are. And it's a lot different. So I don't remember exactly what you were teaching the children. I want you to enlighten us on that.
I was doing, yes, I've done both staff development and working with mindset and just this whole resilience with kids and failure. So when I go into a school, that's what I do. Now I've done staff training too, and that's a little bit different, but it's personal growth and development, teaching everyone that, everybody's a leader in one way or the other. So it's just that same, that area of personal growth and development. But then at the same time, if I got to deal with a business, guess what? I'm doing the same thing. So
right, I loved who you were going into schools, and were you teaching the administrators?
We would sometimes have a staff-wide training where everybody would be there. And then a lot of times it'd be a smaller, the leadership team of the school. And even if it was just going into a classroom or doing an assembly, all the educators, all the teachers were in there. So they were hearing the message too, which I thought, was good.
And what was the message? What were you?
Yeah, I mean, the number one thing is, your belief drives your behavior. That's the bottom line. The result that
How old were these children?
I've done from like elementary, middle to high school to college. So
Wow.
I've done all ages.
You see that's what I wanted to bring out, because when I heard that you were doing that, I said, I wish they had that in when I was growing up, because
Yeah,
nobody taught you about mindset. They taught you how to get a job. Okay, if you
yeah,
take accounting, you'll be an accountant. If you do wood shop, you can be this. You can become a mechanic, you know. But they never talked about mindset. I had to learn that after school. So that's what I loved about you.
yeah. That's one of the biggies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So so COVID hits and there's no more school appearances. So
well,
what did you
during COVID, during COVID, I actually started doing virtual. That's when the whole virtual game changed. So I was doing lunch and learns with classrooms virtually, Google Classroom, all that, and so we
how,
were communicating.
how you know, my sister's a teacher. I have clients that are teachers. They were trying to figure out how to just teach. So you actually got into the schools and you were still doing. That's amazing. That's amazing. I had no idea. I was sitting here saying, I hope Lynn is going to survive this, because I knew that your primary revenue was from the schools. So
Yeah.
that's amazing. But when that happened, so you're a mindset coach, because I know a lot of people freaked out, and deservedly so. They were like, they went from hero to zero overnight. And how did you react to that? What were your thoughts?
Well, one thing again, I am not. I have never been the time. I mean, I'm not being, braggadocious. I'm not bragging. I just cannot sit back. I mean, if somebody throws something out, it's almost to a fault sometimes. I'm trying to find a solution for it. And, with COVID, the one thing I remember was, you know, I've got to recreate myself here. And Elizabeth will laugh at this, because we laughed at it a lot. But I had a calendar link that I put on this podcast. She told me about this podcast site you could get guests. And so I just one day just threw my calendar link up there, and all of a sudden she was like, "Holy moly!" We had 37 guests, and so that meant that I was going to have to, interview 37 people. But it was perfect. Everybody had time. And so all over the world, I was talking to people that were dealing with COVID, and they were recreating their businesses and trying to figure out how they were going to make them work. And maybe it was somebody selling wine, and so they were having virtual wine parties or whatever. But I learned so much in that process. I learned, number one, that you don't post your calendar link on a site like that. I learned that. And I mean, unless you wanted to do 37 interviews, but it was an amazing.
You could have turned them down or spread it out. I know what you're talking about.
I could have, but I didn't. We were just relentless, and we did them. And Elizabeth helped me, upload all that stuff and get them all out there, and it was wonderful. So that was a learning curve, but that put me all over the world. And now, not long ago, I mean, I didn't even know, because I don't sometimes pay attention to detail, as anybody in Bedrock could know that. But I was in 25 countries, our podcast is, and I'm not saying that at all to pat myself on the back, but I'm just saying, if you will do the thing, you will have the thing. And that's nowhere near where I want to be, but I'm just going to continue doing what I've been doing, and then some, doing that one extra every day. And because really whoever's listening, you are the best person to do the job that you've been called to do. And, somebody's waiting on you. The person that you used to be is waiting on you to come and to, be a model for them and be an encouragement for them,
You
and to
know,
light a fire, under them.
I could relate to what you're saying, because actually, and this might sound funny or not funny, but I was trying to outsource myself. I didn't want to be the president. I didn't want to be in charge. I wanted to be the guy behind the curtain. And I tried to find people that could run my business while I just, manage people. I like managing. And then I found out, I said, when COVID hit, I said, you know what? It's either now or never. I got to step up and be a real businessman and not hide behind people. And that was scary, Lynn. That was, and I'll tell you why, because I didn't want the responsibility. I didn't realize it. It was like deep seated. And then I hired a coach. I hired Larry Broughton, and he basically helped peel away the onion skin. And Elizabeth started following me, and she's brilliant. So part of it was I just started surrounding myself that held me accountable. And I started saying, I took, what do you call it? I took responsibility for myself. What you just said, I said, I'm the only one that can do the job that I was put here to do. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, it does, and it's so true. And you can run, but you can't hide. And you will never, when you get the mindset right, once you do that, know your value, then you can step into who you were truly designed to be. And so way to go for hiring a coach. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, everybody should have one.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and I have a master's in counseling, and I have a coach certification, and the two are like night and day. And nothing against counseling at all, but coaching is so empowering, and it just really takes you from where you are today and moves you, just propels you forward. So I love coaching, and I have several clients right now, and I just love that. And then the summer, as a result of some plans I had made that kind of went sideways at the last minute, and I had this 2-week beach house, and it was not just wasn't a cabin. So I mean, it was a chunk of change, and so there I was faced with, do I give up on my dream of every year taking my family to the beach? Do I just sell out and say, well, it didn't work out this year for us to stay 2 weeks, or do what happens? And so one morning, my quiet time, which my faith is very important to me, and so in my quiet time, it was like, duh, you have this Gritty Women podcast. You've been writing for 10 years that you wanted to do Gritty Women conferences. And so not Gritty Women, because Gritty Women went around 10 years ago, but I was writing, I want to do women's conferences, and like, Lynn, you're going to the most beautiful beach. It's gritty, it's sandy. Why not do it there? You have a venue. And it was like, ding, beep. And it just like,
funny how that happened.
like that.
You put
Yeah.
something out there and it never, and I just got done telling one of my students, because I'm actually teaching people in other countries how to do taxes and accounting in the United States. And so I want to ask you a question, because this was posed to me today. The student said, very, very intelligent, has a lot of experience. And she says, I want to work with Bedrock. How do I do that? So what I told her was, you have to define that better. What do you mean you want to work with Bedrock? And it came down to, I said, you got to figure out what you want to do. So what would you tell her? Because she said, how do I do that? I'll tell you what I did. I gave her Napoleon Hill's Definite Chief Aim worksheet, because that's what I use. But how do you figure out what it is that is deep inside of you, that's driving you, that you really want to do, but you might not even realize it?
I think it's pretty simple. It's what wakes you up at night, and what helps you to move past hitting the snooze in the morning, and you get up and you face your day with excitement and enthusiasm. What makes you laugh, what makes you sing, what makes you cry, what makes you nod your head in agreement, and those things there's no rocket science formula. I think it's just that thing that will not go away. And if she's the person that wants to help people in this way, because maybe she's come through some hard times, then that might be her very reason. That might be her why. And it's interesting right now. just something that just came into my lap, that because of the people that are in my inner circle, because nothing's by accident, but I'm very careful about who comes in my inner circle. And so I have a very dear friend who is just, has such a gritty mindset, and she called me and told me about this opportunity that's happening for about 18 months. And because of all of the investing in my personal growth over the last 7 years, I knew that it was right. And because I stay, in my quiet time every morning, I don't have to go spend 10 hours or 10 days or 10 years by myself in solitude trying to see if it's the right decision, because I knew that it was. And I have been able to reach out and help so many people in the last couple of weeks. It has been crazy. And Joe, you'll laugh at this. And Elizabeth, I'll have to tell Elizabeth this too. But today, so I was talking to somebody and she said, the lady said, "Are you a CPA?" And I was just, that was funny. You were talking about something being funny earlier. That was funny. And I was like, "No, ma'am, I'm not." But the company I'm with, they hired 200 CPAs to do that part of the work. And so, but I say all that to say that, if you will just stay close to what lights your soul on fire, and if you will write that daily. Now, this is where people just start looking at their phone when I'm talking, because only 3% of the people ever write down their dream. Only 3% of the people ever write down what they truly want to see in their life, as if it's already happened. And so for about 3 or 4 years, I've been writing back, buy back my land in October of 22. Well, that's coming up. And the quick story on that land was, my daddy gave us all land when we were young. And I had to sell mine one time because we were in debt. And so, but that's always been a dream, to buy my land back. And that's going to happen by the end of this year because of this one contact that I have. So it all gets back to mindset. It all gets back to, your value, and you just staying true to who you are called to be.
So that's beautiful. On the practical side, so you're talking about journaling. Is that correct?
Yeah, every morning, yes, for 7 years.
So I believe, because that's when, I used to give people the Definite Chief Aim worksheet in a PDF, and they would get mad at me. I said, no, you have to write it out. Because I believe that's the first manifestation of your thoughts. And it's been proven that they did some kind of Harvard study, and who's successful, and it always came down to people that journaled. Okay. And I think they said 5%. You say 3%. So that's one of the simple things. Everybody could journal. It's not hard, and you're just you're just writing down your thoughts. And what I do, I go back. Do you ever go back on your journals? Mm-hmm. And then you see how you've grown, right?
Yeah.
So that's very powerful. But take us back to the beach house thing, because you told me, I was like, that's amazing. You didn't just say, "Oh, how am I, I want to do this," because you didn't tell the other part of the story. You actually put together a group of women, correct?
Yeah. I had a friend that she said, "Well, do you think people will fly in for this?" And I said, "I don't know where they're going to come from, but I know that they'll come. I just know that this is one of those things that's just not, a pipe dream. It's something that I'm supposed to do." And so at that point, I was about 50-50. I mean, I knew I was going to do it, but I thought, well, who knows if this is going to work, but I was planning on it working, and this lady called me that I've never even met. And she said, "I bought my plane ticket." And so at that moment, I knew that, it was on and it was for real. And, she was from Kansas. And then it was just like, boom, boom, Louisiana, Illinois, just all over. Texas, I mean, just all over came there. So we've had 2 gritty getaways, and we have the third one coming up in November. And, just they're going to be planned throughout the year. But the main thing is that there were just so many little connections throughout the whole thing. I mean, the two people that came from Illinois last year, I had joined a wellness company, and I'm still taking those products because they're very good products, but I'm not really building a business in that company. But I went to Illinois, and I went to a grocery store. It's like a really nice independent, like a Whole Food store, but it wasn't Whole Foods. And I called them before I got there, and I said, "Hey, I would love to come and add value to your team. Just give away a lunch and learn for y'all." So I did, and that's where I met this one girl, and just really connected with them. I love their culture, and so she and her friend came to this gritty getaway. So that was just a way that I went and planted seeds, and then I didn't see a harvest right out of the gate, but here we are from March to July. Then they both fly from Illinois to attend the conference, and so anyway, I just it'll work. That's a formula that can work for anybody, but it just takes action. You do have to just live uncomfortable. And there are a lot of people that don't want to do that. I'm living uncomfortable right now for the last couple of days because I've not been able to have any potato chips. So I've been living a little uncomfortable. But you know what? In order to get where you want to go, you got to be uncomfortable regardless of.
Well,
So.
I'm sure there's a reason why you're not having potato chips, but I don't think they're too healthy. I'm not allowed to eat potato chips. Well, I'm allowed to, but I choose not to.
Yes, they're not.
As far as what you just said about taking action, you did mention about your faith. So you want to explain a little bit, because that's one of our core values. You want to explain that in more detail?
Yeah. I mean, totally. My faith is everything. Without that, I've tried it a lot of different ways. I've tried it on my own, and I just tried to find my peace and my affirmations and my value through the world, and it's not out there. And so, my faith, with the Lord is number one to me. It is my top priority. And so, for the reason I've been doing this quiet time for 7 years is because I hit a wall, and I called a friend and I said, "Hey, I'm going into a hard place." And she said, "Make sure out of everything you do, make sure that you're not neglecting this time." And so that just has been something that a habit that I've created. And out of that habit, I'm making my bed every day. I've done it now for, I think about 1,300 days, so I'm tracking it. And, just all these little habits you form just from, habits create habits. And so anyway, but my faith is so important. And I just live each day to become the best version of me. And, one of the things in Gritty Women, the why in Gritty is for you, do you. And I think when people truly know their value and where their identity comes from, then I think it's then that they can become who they were designed to be. So that's it in a nutshell.
I love that, designed to be. I could talk to you for a long time. I do like to keep these short because people just don't watch hour-long videos.
Oh, no.
But you touched on a couple of things. When you say faith, because the way I look at faith, I'm not talking about organized religion. It could be faith in yourself. Napoleon Hill talks about it. Cosmic habit force, that's what he calls it. There's something in the universe that just makes things happen. Now, you could be religious and have faith, but as long as you believe that it's the power of the mind, and positive affirmations you talk about. But I want to do two things now, because you gave us 2 letters of Gritty. So obviously this is an acronym. So you can't leave us. You got to give us all the letters. What are they?
Okay. I'll do it. G is for grateful heart. You got to have a grateful heart, a heart of gratitude. R is for resilient. I is for inspired. You have to live an inspired life, and you have to be inspired before you can do that. The 2 T's in Gritty stand for think tough, because what you think about matters, and you got to be tough because life is not for wimps. And the why is for you do you.
That's beautiful. So your so the the event that you do, that's just for women.
That is correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like dressed up like a with a wig and lipstick, could I come?
I don't know. You might be able to qualify through the intense interview that it takes, but no. Yeah, it's just gritty. It's just for women. It's just you
That's
know,
great.
I might do a gritty guys one day, but right now it's just
You never know. You never
the
know.
girls.
We need it too. We just
Yeah.
don't realize it, but we definitely need it. So
Yes.
last question, how do people sign up for this?
They can go to my website, lynnebrown.net, and just send me a message. And
Lynn Brown, right?
yeah, LYNNE.
Oh, Lin.
Yeah, lynnebrown.net. LYNNE. I could put it in there.
Oh, okay. I don't know how to spell. I'm used to spell check now. I used to be an excellent speller.
Oh yeah, I know. That spell check is great.
So I put lynnebrown.net. I didn't put the www because that's
Yeah,
I forgot it. I forgot it.
it's okay. And
So
then yeah.
so they could sign up, get all the information, right? And now
Yeah.
you also do coaching. Do you do like a free discovery?
Yeah, we have a discovery call that they can go on and just sign up for that, and I'll be in contact, and we can after that we'll set up their plan, their coaching plan. Yeah, so all the information's on there, and then there's some other things on there too. I have a new digital product that really has not even been fully launched yet, but it's really pretty cool. It's a personalized scripture, so it's taking scripture and putting your name in it. But anyway, yeah, just go to lynnebrown.net, send me a message if you're interested. Yeah, because I haven't launched that November getaway yet. So, but just if anybody can contact me on lynnebrown.net.
Okay, that's awesome. I highly recommend it. I might be on the outside. I'll check it out and maybe get the positive energy coming from you. I just want to leave with one last funny story because you booked an appointment with me, a chat last week, right?
Yes.
So last week, I believe so. And I think, okay, she's either going to yell at me about something or she's going to ask about accounting or taxes. And quite to my surprise, you talked to me about the retention recovery rebate, the payroll tax rebate that the IRS is offering. And I was like, I know about this, but I'm like, so you gave me a link to a company that'll actually, all you got to do is upload the info, and I'm doing it for a bunch of clients now. But
That's
that
so
caught
awesome.
me so by surprise, and I was like, maybe that's why they're asking you if you're a CPA.
I know. Isn't that hilarious? I mean, and I was just laughing, just thinking about all the, the stress I'm sure I've caused y'all. And then, but I thought, my gosh, but maybe this is the way I can give back to them, And, but it really has been amazing just what I've learned just from stretching myself with that. And just the knowing you're helping somebody just takes all the edge out. But yeah, I mean, I've got probably 5 or 6 people already enrolled, and this daycare, I mean, my word, they have so many employees, and I mean, they could be getting a significant chunk, and I'm just so excited about it.
It could be significant. I put the numbers in, and if you had like 4 employees, you could get up to $60,000 back.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
that'll make somebody very happy. So thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome.
Don't think that we don't think about you and say, oh my God, it's Lynn again.
I know y'all do. You'll have to. I know.
But
I'm getting there, though. I'm getting there.
Said a lot of great things. I hope a lot of people watch this and sign up for your thing. Definitely go to lynnebrown.net. And you're definitely evolving. It's great to know you. And that's it. That's our story, folks. We're sticking with it. So over and out. And we do have a whole slate of new podcasts coming up, new interviews. I know Jeff Wolf was visiting us. We will have him on shortly. That should be fun. And stay tuned for more amazing episodes of How to Win at Business. Thank you.